What if I told you that the biggest opportunity in property does not lie on Rightmove? It lies behind old garages. It lies behind commercial buildings which are unused. It lies behind derelict buildings. It lies behind unused yards, workshops. Okay, and most of the people walk past them every day and they don't realize this. And the difference between an investor and a developer is that an investor buys something where value has already been created, and a developer is who sees the value in the land or a derelict building which has not been used to its full potential. That's what we can say. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to find these brownfield sites in our cities, in our towns, which can be gold mines if we just do certain things with them. So watch the video till the end. There's 4 or 5 sections this video. Like all the YouTubers, I'm not going to say the last section is the best one. All the sections are good. You need to watch them. You got to watch a whole video. You will gain a lot of knowledge. And I was trying to make sure that I bring top content for you guys. So make sure you like and subscribe the video as well. Hey, I'm Indy Man. What's up? Okay, let's start the video. So over the years, I've seen investors go out there and look for like the best buy-to-let deal, the best perfect buy-to-let property, or do the property up. But the developers are looking for something else. The developers are looking for derelict land, derelict buildings, like explained earlier in the video, where they can double or even triple or even multiply their money, you know, through just a simple value, by adding value by planning uplift. Okay, and the problem is that most people don't know where to look. All right, or nobody tells this properly. All right, so most people think that finding development projects are very difficult, but it's not. They're easy. Okay, once you know what you're looking for, you will start spotting opportunities left, right, and center. So today I'm going to show you exactly process how you can do that. So first of all, let's talk about what is a brownfield site. A brownfield site is which has been used previously for development. It could be anything. I'll give you a list. It could be old garages. It could be disused industrial units. It could be former petrol stations, storage yards, unused commercial premises. Excuse me. Could be old pubs. It could be closed care homes. Could be closed hotels. It could be vacant office buildings. It could be redundant farm buildings. Could be former car parks. And the reason that the developers love brownfield sites is very simple. Okay, because the planning authorities prefer building on a brownfield site rather than a greenfield site, or on the green belt. The reason is simple. Why? Because it's easier, and you're just reusing the existing use of the property in a sense that it's already been developed on. So why brownfield sites create massive wealth? Okay, so this is where the things get exciting. Okay, now imagine this, right? You've got a land, you've got a brownfield site which is worth £100,000, and then you go and apply for planning permission and you get planning permission granted on it. So all of a sudden that land is now worth something like £300,000, £400,000, and in some cases significantly more. Say you got planning for 6 houses on the property, on the land or the brownfield site. Straight away the value of the property is going to go up. Okay, so now nothing physical has changed here. You have not built anything on that land. All you've done is just simply secured a planning permission on the land, and this is called planning uplift. All right, so, and this is I would say this is the most powerful way to create wealth on any derelict property. So where to find these brownfield sites? Now, this is where most people get stuck, because they think there's a secret database where all these brownfields are coming from, these sites are coming from. There isn't. All right, let's look at the methods. Let's look at where to find these sites. Method 1, simplest, just drive around in your local area. This is the simplest method, all right, but it still works. All right, so go behind the row of houses, go to industrial estates, go to look at unused corner plots, look at old garages. Me myself, I've secured a corner plot on one of the properties not far from where I live. I live in West Bromwich area, and I've got options agreement signed with the house owner now, so I'm buying the plot of land subject to planning. And guess how much I paid him? I paid him £1,000. Not for the value of the land, but £1,000, and we scored the options agreement. All right. So that's another topic. But let's look at storage compounds. Look for neglected sites. Now, method 2. This is easy as well. All you need is a laptop and an internet connection, a Wi-Fi. Google Maps, best thing you can look at. Go on satellite view. Okay, go on street view. And I spend hours on Google Maps myself. I use other softwares as well, okay? But Google Maps, you can just use that. It's free to use. Look at street view, look at industrial areas, look at the rear road accesses. You'll be surprised exactly how much empty plots of land you will actually see and you'll find. The local councils, Brownfield registers. Some of the councils have these Brownfield registers, and they have a list of it, and this is literally a list of potential development opportunities, guys. Another method you could use is you look at planning portals. Now, looking at recent planning approvals, the developers sometimes leave clues. Look at the areas where the development is already happening, because if one developer's got planning on one site, you can probably get planning on the site next to that site. Now, you're going to say, okay, Indy, we can see this, but how do you spot planning potential? Right? Let me tell you that. This is a skill. Once you acquire this skill, once you got this in your eyes, this changes the whole game for you guys. You don't need a planning consultant to look at a site and think whether planning can be granted there or not. You simply need to ask yourself 5 questions. That's it, just 5, yeah? So let me give you a list of these questions now. Question 1, what surrounds the site? Biggest one, okay? For example, if you're trying to build houses in an industrial estate where there's all factories around it, it's going to be a no-no, okay? But if you're trying to develop another warehouse there, then yes, you're more likely to get planning for that, all right? So what surrounds the site is number 1. Number 2 is what has already been approved nearby. So look at the local planning portal and have a look at what has been approved in the area, what kind of development is more likely to be approved. For example, some areas local authorities might say, look, we only want houses here, we don't want no apartments. And some areas could be that they could just say we want a mixture of some townhouses and some normal 3-bed, 4-bed houses, or some apartments. So look what's been approved already. Question 3 is biggest one, guys. Does the site have a vehicle access? All right, you need minimum of I think it's about 4.5 meters, 3.5 or 4.5. Excuse me, I can look at that, I can tell you, I can come back to you. But there's a minimum access what you require for on how many houses you're building, and more houses you're building, the bigger the access has to be. Think about the rubbish collection trucks. All right, the T it's called the T where the turning point is. Can they turn from their inside? How long is the drag for a dustbin from the say you're building behind the houses, existing properties? How long is the drag of the bin? There's a minimum maximum requirement for that as well. So first of all, you need to see, can a car go through that place? All right, so that's number 3. Number 4, can utilities be connected? This is really big as well, because if you can't get a connection for utilities, you're trying to build in middle of nowhere, it's not going to work. All right, so utilities, how easy it is, because the longer they have to dig for you, the longer pipes, wires, whatever they need to put for you, the more expensive it's going to be for any future developer to develop there. Yeah. Question 5, would this improve the area? That's very big one as well. What you're going to do on that place, what you're going to do on that site, if it's a derelict building, say it's a derelict old office block, and local kids are going in there playing around, but it's dangerous for them because there's other dangerous stuff, like for example, there's broken glass there, anyone can get hurt. There's barbed wire which has been just lying around, or the place has got access to go inside, but the electric is still live. So there's loads of issues. So you go in there, you change the derelict building into a block of apartments in middle of a residential street, everybody's going to be grateful to you. So would this improve the area? The biggest mistake the beginners are making is that they're looking at the site as it is, all right? But to think as a developer, you need to think what this site could be tomorrow. What can be done with it? Now, how to think like a real developer. When I look at a site, I don't see old garages, I don't see a derelict building, I don't see an empty yard, I don't see a vacant building. What I see is I see potential GDV for what I can do there. I see potential for planning gain. I see the potential profit what I can make at the end of it. Okay, the site is simply a vehicle. The planning permission is what creates the value. A lot of landowners, a lot of brownfield site owners, they're under the impression that that the value of the building is really high, but without planning, it's not. Planning is the main thing. Once you get the planning, that's when the value is uplifted. That's where you created wealth. Now, how to start sourcing for developers? This is where the huge opportunity exists. Okay, not all developers are they've got the time to sit on their laptop searching for these potential sites. Okay, so if you can identify these sites and you can package them properly, there's loads of developers who are looking for these sites and they don't have the time, like I said. Okay, so you don't need millions of pounds to create value and stuff. You need minimum money. You need money for your architect, you need money for your solicitor, and you need the planning application fee. That's what you need to start with. All right, and we at Mann's Academy, we can actually do that all for you. As long as you find the site, you come to us, we'll work with you together. We can pay for all that and we can split the profit 50-50. So if you want to work with me, guys, go to my website indyman.com, fill the contact us form, tell me what you exactly want to do with me, how you want to work with me, and I can help you. Okay, so let's carry on with the video. So you don't need millions, like I said. All you need is good eyesight. Not in like go to Specsavers, get glasses. What I mean is you need good eyes. Okay, so and you need persistence and the ability to spot the potential. That's what you need. So if there's one lesson I want you to take away from this video, that would be this. All right, stop competing with everybody for deals. All right, have the eyes to actually find opportunities before they become deals. That's the difference. That's what I want you to take away. That's how real developers think. All right, and once you start seeing this land through their lens, what I've just showed you, you will never look at your town same again. And guys, if you're, like I said, if you're interested in learning land sourcing or potentially work with me, opportunities there, just get in touch, go to my website. I will leave the link for the website below as well. And next week, get ready for a new video. God bless you all. Keep working hard and like and subscribe the video, please. I'm trying my best to bring you real value through these videos rather than all the gibberish riffraff. I'm trying to create real value to your property journey, and I will slowly start bringing people to my podcast as well who can add even more value. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you like it as well. So that helps me bring more of these videos to you guys. Peace out till the next one.